Hello my dolly dearies and welcome to another video. As of today, we are diving into Mermaid with a brand new mermaid doll. As it has become tradition at this point, for the past 2 years for Mermaid I have made cute little mermaid dolls. Last year us having Fish Boy, who is still unnamed, and Thetis from 2 years ago. It has kind of become a tradition for me to host a collaboration with these things, as such I did this year. This year, it being a small collaboration with the Invader Max. Make sure to go and check their channel out, link in the description box below. But this year for Mermaid, I wanted to say something a little different. Both of my previous mermaid dolls have been typical mermaids, with their pearl crowns and fishnet and long flowy hair. I thought it could be fun to try and mix it up and try something completely and utterly different. So I quickly whipped up this design with the idea of a festival punk thing in mind, and thought it could be really fun to do. So without any further ado, let's get on with the video. To start, we'll be using this mangled doll from the Great Scary Reef. She is missing an arm which played into her design, and her tail is mostly gone, but we're going to be going around fixing that. To begin, we're going to take a pair of sharp scissors to clip the hair as close to the head as possible. And with all of the oily, greasy hair gone, we're left with a cool little buzz cut. Shame we won't be using this for this doll. But we stripped her down of all of her clothes and accessories, leaving us with this very cool articulated base. And after removing her head with some boiling water, we can take our needle nose pliers to scrape all of the gunky hair from inside the head. You can get some really weird big chunks with some dolls. This one was very sticky and horrid on the inside. Blech. But with all of the horrid gunky bits out and them chucked in the bin, we can get on with the next step, which is of course the hair. I painted her head a base of a pale pink to sort of match my wool. I got the colour a bit off, but due to yarn being so thick to reroute, it'll be fine. Here we can see all of the yarn that I cut off. I ended up needing about 3 times as much, but what I ended up doing was taking my needle tool, stabbing it into the head, looping a piece of yarn over my finger, and with the biggest eye on my rerouting tool, stabbing it into the head. Making the holes wider isn't a necessity, but I find it makes it easier for me. And she has got some crazy hair going on. To secure this all in place, we can take our Yoo-hoo glue and squeeze a whole heap of it into her head through the neck hole. But with all of her hair stuck in place, we can get around brushing it all out with our pet brush. To do this, I just repeatedly attack it with the hairbrush, just to try and destroy all of the fibres and make them suitable for ironing. You can see how much different it looks. And through all of the fluff, we've got some pretty sweet looking space buns. Perfect for the festival aesthetic. Now we can get ready and prime her face with a coat of Mr. Super Clear. And we can begin her face up. Now, I wasn't 100% sure where to go on her face up, but I started out as I usually would, blushing the cheeks, adding some shade to the nose, eye crevice, and some pink to the lips. I did find this face mold particularly difficult to work with. It was very sculpted and very defined, making the shading particularly difficult. bit of a sparkle to our mermaid doll, because what mermaid is complete without any sparkle, I took some of my blue mica powder to shade in some of the areas in blue, so that they all have a subtle bit of glitter to them. But with that first layer done, we can take our pencils to start sketching in her eye shape. Due to her having a very defined sculpt, I followed the basics of the mould, sketching her in some pupils to be looking directly ahead. And laying out a base of orange for the bottom of her eyes. Taking some black, I go in sketching the eye creases and eye lines. Since I wanted to do this doll with white eyeliner, I kept away from doing her eyeliner in black, because that would be very difficult to go over with a white pencil. And sketching in some pink eyebrows with my hot pink pencil. I then take a darker pink pencil to add some line and more definition to the eyebrows. And going in with more white pencil to highlight beneath the brows, the bridge of the nose, and the Cupid's bow. Taking in a sharp black pencil, I start to define the outside of her pupils and add some depth to her lip crevice. Then I go in with my grey pencil to slightly lighten the outside of her mascara. But with pencils no longer working, we're going to bring out the gouache paints. Using my finest and smallest brush, I go about brightening all of the colours, brightening the base of her eyes into a lighter orange so that the gold will really pop. And taking some white paint to brighten the whites of her eyes. But with that relatively simple face setup done, she is looking pretty swanky. Time to add some gloss with some Liquitex High Gloss Varnish. I take the smallest amount and stroke it across her lips and pupils. Now we get to remove her from the sock of shame. But first, why don't we add a bit of glitter to her face? One thing which is very indicative of festivals is everybody having obscene amounts of glitter on their face, so I ordered these nail art glitters and started sticking them with some PVA glue to her face to make everything sparkle. With a bit of PVA glue, I went and sprinkled on some pink glitter. I did this over paper so that I would be able to put the glitter back into its pot once finished. But with all of the glitter on, we can actually remove her from the sock of shame. And ta-da! It's always so satisfying when it all comes together with the sock finally gone. With her hair restyled a bit, we can add some more glitter going down her parting. To do this, I do the exact same thing I did for the face and cheeks. I dot on some PVA glue across and shake on some glitter. But that's her face done! And with that we can reattach her head to the body. Now, how on earth can we tie even more glitter into this, except for on the outfit? Using our mannequin doll, I make out a very rough pattern for a bikini top, using some straps and small triangles with darts cut in them. I keep the outsides white, painted with some shimmery fabric paint, and add in some purple glitter to the centre of the bikini shirt. But what are we going to do for her earrings? Now I've got plenty of sea-themed things, but it's choosing exactly which ones. Maybe we do a starfish and a seashell. But then again, we've got so many other things to choose from. But eventually landing on the starfish and seashell, we can get started on the main attraction, her tentacles. This, I had no idea what I was doing, so just tried to go in with whatever I thought would go best. Drilling a hole through her waist and threading a bunch of wires through it to make up the armatures for her tentacle legs. Eventually, the hole I drilled became too filled with wires that I had to loop the last 2 wires through the rest of the wires. After looping them through, I take the ends and twist them together. And with all of those hot glued in place, we can get started on making the tentacles. I cut out a bunch of strips from a white cotton and a fabric that I painted a gradient and some spots on, sewing them together at the sides, the small width of white cotton being thinner than the painted so that it will add a kind of roundness and tentacleness when turned inside out. After sewing each one, I turn it inside out, and as you can see, it looks like the underside and base is in the white, whereas not the half of the thing. They look pretty good if I do say so myself. And after ladder stitching the tops of all of them together and stuffing them with a bunch of yarn from her hair, we've got some functional tentacles. But she still needs more glitter. Is there ever such a thing as too much glitter? And a small flower charm in the middle. She just looks so pretty, doesn't she? But with that, she's done. Pretty cool, right? Tentacles were certainly a first, and one that I definitely want to refine my skills for more in the future. make sure to go and check out my collaboration partner, Invader Max. This doll was certainly an adventure. Her face turning out weirdly and me having to then change her eyeliner because I felt the grey did not quite work. Maybe that's a choice for a future doll. But due to her being an octopus, I felt that I absolutely had to name her Calamaria, or Scampy for short, or a nickname, which I just think is a bit too funny for its own good. She's a very strange doll, but alas, I do really like the way she turned out, if only changing a few things in the future. What do you guys think of her? Leave your answers in the comments below, and if you liked the video, drop a like and maybe share it with a friend. But as always guys, thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you all in the next video. Bye!